शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாபிவ சம்பிரக்தோ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्री पार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं सहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचर गुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरनभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयम्। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പിടേണ്ടാത്തോരു രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we'll do a quick review of 49 and 50 and then we'll jump into the two. Maybe Vijay, can you do one, and Preeti, you can do one.
Sure, Rajesh. Dashakam 49 Vrindavana Gamana Varnanam Bhavat Prabhava Vidurahi Gopaha Karu Prapatadi Kamatra Goshte अहेतुमुत्पातगनं विशङ्क्य प्रयातु मन्यत्र मनोवितेनुः तत्रोपनन्दाभिदगोपवर्यो जगौ भवत्प्रेरणयैव नूनम् इतः प्रतीच्यां विपिनं मनोज्ञं वृन्दावनं नाम विराजतीति बृहद्वनं तत् खलु नन्दमुख्याः विदाय गौस्तीनमतक्षणेन त्वदन्वितत्वजननी निविष्ट गरिष्ठयानानुगता विचेलुः अनोमनोज्ञध्वनिधेनुपाली कुरप्रणादान्तरतो विदुभिः
वधूभिः
वधू तरतो वधूभिः भवद्विनोदालपिताक्षराणि प्रपीयनाज्ञायत मार्गदैर्घ्यं निरीक्ष्य वृन्दावनमीशनन्दत् प्रशूनकुन्दप्रमुखद्रुमौघम् अमोदता साद्वलसान्द्रलक्ष्म्या हरिण्मणिकुट्टिमपुष्टशोभम् नवाकनिर्व्यूढनिवासभेदेषु स्वसेषु गोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितपर्यवलोकतास्त्वम्
So this is line la Vedeshu and the comma at the next word is Ashesha Gopeshu.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Starts with the A, okay.
Yeah,
Keep
sorry. अशेषगोपेषु सुखासितेषु वनश्रियं गोपकिशोरपाली विमिश्रितपर्यवलोकतास्त्वम् अराळमार्गागतनिर्मलापां मराळकूजाकृतनर्मलापां निरन्तरस्मेरसरोजवक्त्रां कलिन्दकन्यां समलोकयस्त्वं मयूरकेकाशतलोभनीयं मयूकमाला शबलं मणीनां विरिञ्च लोकास्पृशमुच्च शृङ्गैर्गिरिं च गोवर्धनमैक्सथास्त्वं
the second line la Shringaihi. That ir that you said Shringair you said. The ir becomes a visarga, so Shringaihi on the second line. Okay.
समं ततो गोपकुमारतैस्त्वं समं ततो यत्र वनान्तमागाः ततस्ततस्तां कृतिलामपश्यः कलिन्दजां राघवतीमिवैकां तथा विदेस्मिन् विपिने पशाव्ये समुत्सुको वत्सगणप्रचारे शरण्सरामो कुमारकैस्त्वं समीरगेहेदिपपाहि रोगात् श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः.
In the 9 la chinnadu, the second line like it's Kutilam, ku sound. Okay, I heard a kru maybe by mistake. Kutilama Pashyaha.
Oh, okay. Kritilaman எழுதிருக்கேன், sorry.
Okay, it's Kutilam, Kutilam, Kutilam.
Kutilam. இதுல KRTI ன்னு இருக்கு.
Okay, just change that to Kutilam.
Yeah,
okay?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Dasakam 50. Taralamadu Vrinde Vrindavane. எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் ராகம்.
Got it. Taralamadu Vrinde Vrindhavaneta Manohare.
Thanks, Rajesh. Taralamadu Vrinde Vrindavaneta Manohare. पशुभशिशुभिस्साकं वत्सानुपालनलोलुपः हलधर सखो देव श्रीमन्विचेरितधारयन् गवलमुरलीवेत्रं नेत्राभिरामधनुर्युतिः विहितजगत्तीरक्षं लक्ष्मीकराम्बुजलालितं ददति चरणत्वं वृन्दावने त्वयि पावने किमिव न भवौ सम्पूरितं तरुवल्लरी सलिलधरणीकोत्र क्षेत्राधिकं कमलापते विलसदुप्लपे कान्तारान्ते समीरणशीतले विपुलयमुनातीरे गोवर्धनाचलमूर्धसु ललित मुरलीनाथः सञ्चारयन् खलु वात्सकं क्वचन दिवसे दैत्यं वत्साकृतिं त्वमुदैक्षताः रभसविलसत्पुच्छं विच्छायतोऽस्य विलोकयन् किमपि वलितस्कन्धं रन्ध्रप्रतीक्षमुदीक्षतम् तमथ चरणे बिभ्रत् तमथ चरणे बिभ्रद्विभ्रामयन् मुहुरुच्चकैः कुहचन महावृक्षे क्षिक्षेपितक्षतक्षीवितम् निपतति महादैत्ये जात्या दुरात्मनि तत्क्षणम् निपतनज वक्षुन्नक्षोणीरुहक्षदकानने दिवि परिमिलत् बृन्दारकाः कुसुमोत्करैः शिरसि भवतो हर्षात् वर्षन्ति नाम तदा हरे सुरभिलतमामूर्धन्यूर्ध्वं कुसुमावली निपतति तवेद्युक्तो बालैः सहेलमुदैरयः झटिति दनुज क्षेपेनोर्ध्वं कतस्तरुमण्डलात् कुसुमनिकरः सोऽयं नूनं समेति शनैरिति क्वचन दिवसे भूयस्तरे परुषातपे तपनतनया पातः पातुं कदा भवदादयः चलितकरुतं प्रेक्षामासुपर्गं खलु विस्मृतं क्षितिधरकृच्छेते कैलासशैलमिवापरम्
Third line, Preeti, second word. Prekshamasur bakam.
चलितकृतं प्रेक्षामासुपर्गं खलु विस्मृतं
I'll tell you what you are saying. Barkam, okay? You're saying Preksha Masu Barkam. You're saying it's Preksha Masur
Bagam.
Bakam.
Okay. Chalitakritam prekshamasur kalu sorry. Garutam prekshamasur
That's okay. I think because you practice as Barkam, that's what is coming for you. But that's okay. It's just Masur Bakam. Okay.
So அது எப்படி பிரிக்கணும்னு சொல்லுங்க பிரேக்ஷா மாசு
Garutam Preksha Masur Bakam Khalu Vismritam.
Okay. चलितगरुतं प्रेक्षामासुर्बकं खलु विस्मृतं क्षितिधरकरुच्छेदे कैलासशैलमिवापरम् बिभति चलिलं गोपव्राते बिभति सलिलं गोपव्राते भवन्तमभिद्रुतः सकिल निर्भर्ग्यं I'm just struggling here. Sorry. ஒரு வாட்டி படிச்சிடுறேன்.
சகில நிகிலன்னக்னி பிரக்யம் புனர்த்ருதமுத்வமன்.
So அங்க ஒரு கமா இருக்கா? அதை மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
I'm just separating it.
Oh, okay. பிபதி சலிலம் கோபவ்ராதே பவந்தமபித்ருதः சகில நிகிலன்னக்னிக் பிரக்யம் புனர்த்ருதமுத்வமன் दलयितुमगात्रोट्याः कोट्या तदाशु भवान् विभो खलजनभिता चञ्चु प्रगृह्य तदारतम्.
The third line, that throatyaha and the ha, it becomes a H sound there. So throatyah, that's it. Okay.
दलयितुमगात्रोट्याः कोट्या तदाशु भवान् विभो खलजनभिता चञ्चु प्रगृह्य तदारतम्. सपति सहजां सन्त्रष्टुं वामृतां खलु भूतनाम् अनुजमखमभ्यग्रेत् गत्वा प्रतीक्षितुमेव वा शमननिलयं याते तस्मिन् भगे सुमनोगणे किरति सुमनो वृन्दं बृन्दावनात् गृहमय्यताः ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्य रातारूढः दारूढमोदमुदीक्षतः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिरत् प्रचित्तवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व मयान् श्रीकृष्णाय परब्रह्मणे नमः. Thanks, sir.
Fourth line after shaure there is a comma. Okay, so it's janita janani nandhananda samira namandira pratita vasate shaure, comma duri kurushva mamamayan.
Thank you. Got it.
Naya parabhamane namaha. Okay, we'll do 51 and 52.
ராஜேஸ்ரீ ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு கொஸ்டின். இந்த லாஸ்ட் இதுக்கு வந்து நம்ம பிரிக்கவே இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். டைம் இல்லாததுனால பிரிக்காம போயிட்டோம். ஆமா.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we'll start from there then. Yeah, right. I made a note of it. Yeah. Okay, Nikki, let's see who had first half. Sorry. Padmaja, Padmaja Mekundam, you can be a student, and Lakshmi Kamalaji, you can be a student. Okay, so I don't know if you did the meaning for 10. I'll just say it otherwise anyway. So Lalita Muralhinadam Durhan Nishamya Vadhu Janaihi Tvaritamupagambya Radharudha Moda Mudikshitah Janita Janani Nandhananda Samirana Mandira Pratita Vasate Shaure Duri Kurushva Mamamayan. So we saw in the previous one about Bakasura who had come in the form of a crane, right? And then Vatsasura who had come in the form of a calf. So anyway, so because the Bakasura was gotten rid of and all the boys were returning home, and like they always come when they come, like they all have their own unique way of playing their flute or unique way of blowing their horn. So the parents can say, okay, this is my son who is actually coming. So with that, they all come back home. They all come back home safe. So Guru Arapa, please eradicate all of the ailments I have. Lalita Murali Nadam Duran Nishamya Vadhu Janaihi. Put a visarga comma there. Vadhu Janaihi. Next line, that is will go away. Tvaritam Upagamyar. I'm going to break this into a few parts, but you decide how you want to say it, whether you want it broken or continuous. Tvaritam Upagamyarad, the da that is there, I'm breaking into it and a. Upagamyarad Arudha Modam Udikshitaha. So you can break it into like 4 or 5 parts there. Janita Janani Nandanandaha, put a is instead of the visarga. Nandanandas Samirana Mandira, put a plus. Pratita Vasate Shaure, comma Duri Kurushva Mamamayan. Lalitam Muralhinadam Durhan Nishamya Vadhu Janaihi Tvaritamupagambya Radharudha Moda Mudikshitah Janita Janani Nandhananda Samirana Mandira Pratita Vasate Shaure Duri Kurushva Mamamayan.
ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्य राधारूढमोदमुदीक्षितः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिरप्रथितवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व मयान् ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्य राधारूढमोदमुदीक्षितः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दाः समीरेण मन्दिरप्रथित वसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व मम मयान्
ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्य राधा रूढमोदमुदीक्षितः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिरप्रथितवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व ममामयान् ललितमुरलीनादं दूरान्निशम्य वधूजनैः त्वरितमुपगम्य राधा रूढमोदमुदीक्षितः जनितजननी नन्दानन्दः समीरणमन्दिरप्रथितवसते शौरे दूरीकुरुष्व ममामयान्
Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Okay, go to Dashakam 51. 51, 52 are very nice, especially 52 is amazing Dashakam that will come. So 51 is little bit preluding that. So 51 is Aghasura Vadha Varnanam. So this Aghasura is another of the one of the emissaries of Kamsa. So it's also a pretty small Dashakam only. Stanza 1. कदाचन व्रजशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमतिः प्रगेतराम् समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सते वनैर्निरगमदीशजेमनैः. So now they are all in Vrindavan, right? They moved to Vrindavan in Dashakam 49. So they're all there. So one fine day, like the previous one day they had gone, they met with Vatsasura. Then one day they met with Bhakasura. So one fine day, Krishna or previous day, Krishna tells all of them that, tomorrow we are going to go very early in the morning. We are going to go like a day picnic. They still have to go graze the calves, but they say we are going to do like a picnic in the forest. So because we're going to do picnic in the forest, we're going to pack some extra food. So we're going to leave early in the morning and we are going to go graze the calves. We're going to hang out in Vrindavan, in the forests of Vrindavan by Yamuna. And so they all get ready early morning and they all pack cooked rice. We'll see what exactly they pack is going to come later. They pack cooked rice for now because it has to sustain the heat during the course of the day, right? So they all go and they also take with them, various things. Like you said, they take their flute, they take their bugle, which is their horn, and they take their stick, which is to herd the calves and everything. And in Dashakam 50, if you just go back to the first stanza, it says, Haladhara Sako Deva Shriman. Along with Balarama, you went to Krishna. It said in 50. Here it doesn't say anything because Balarama doesn't go this day. If any of you can figure out why, as we are going through the Dashakam, just call it out. So anyway, so Balarama doesn't come this day. And the rest of the boys, along with Krishna, they all decide to go to the forest to have a picnic and to herd the calves. So Kadachana Braja Shishubhihi, put is Shishubhis Samam Bhavan, Vanashane Bihita Matihi, put F Matif Pragetaram, Samavruto Bahutara Vatsa Mandalaihi, Sate Manair Niragamadisha Jemanaihi. Kadachana Brajashishubhis Samam Bhavan Vanashane Vihitamatif Pragetaram Samavruto Bahutara Vatsa Mandalaihi Sate Manair Niragamadisha Jemanaihi.
कदाचन व्रजशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमतिः प्रगेतराम् समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सते मनैर्निरगमदीश जमेनैः जेमनैः कदाचन व्रजशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमतिः प्रगेतराम् समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सते मनैर्निरगमदीश जमानैः
Jemanaihi.
जेमनैः
Jemana is referring to cooked rice, various types of cooked rice, like we said, puliyodrai, curd rice, all of the pre-cooked rice.
कदाचन व्रजशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमतिः प्रगेतराम् समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सते मनैर्निरगमदीशजेमनैः कदाचन व्रजशिशुभिः समं भवान् वनाशने विहितमतिः प्रगेतराम् समावृतो बहुतरवत्समण्डलैः सते मनैर्निरगमदीशजेमनैः
That's it too. Yatastava charanam bhujadvayat udanchitam tribhuvanapāvanam rajah maharshayah pulakadaraih kalebaraih uduhire dhrita bhavadikshanotsavaha. So just a nice stanza where it says that Krishna, as you are walking through Vrindavan, your feet is kicking off the dust from the, the mud of grounds of Vrindavan. So all these rishis who are there in all the higher loka, like the Maharloka, Janaloka, they all are saying, we all are having to pray for so many years, meditate, go through penance and all of these things. But somehow the people of Vrindavan are just so lucky because you are walking, Krishna, and right behind you, those Gopa boys are walking. So wherever your footsteps are there, the Gopa boys are getting access to that, but we are not able to. So you see, that's why Vrindavan, like we said last time also, when they moved to Vrindavan, I said it's like a very divine Punya Kshetram. So, so the rishis of other worlds are coming and saying, we also want to partake in that of Krishna. So as you are walking through Vrindavan, they also come and they roll in the muds of Vrindavan, it says here, so the dust, which is a Raja, refers to the dust. So the dust that is coming from you walking on Vrindavan, they want to take it on their body because they will never get the chance through just meditation or tapas. They don't get access to that. But this, they are directly coming in contact with you, Krishna. Viniryatas tava charanambuja dvayat. Put a it at the end of that line. Dvayat. Next, the du in the next line becomes u. Udanchitam Tribhuvana Pavanam Rajaha Maharshayaha, put a F to join, Maharshaya, Pulakadaraihi, put a Ich to join, Pulakadarai, Kalebaraihi, put a Visarga comma, Kalebaraihi. Next line, the Ru becomes U, Uduhire, Dhrita, Bhavadikshanotsavaha. It's one word. Bhavadikshana Utsavaha, but you can say it together. Bhavadikshanotsavaha. Viniryatas-tava charanambujadvayate udanchitam tribhuvana-pavanam rajah maharshayah pulakadaraih kalebaraih uduhire dhrita bhavadikshanotsavaha.
विनिर्यतस्तव चरणाम्बुजद्वयात् उदिञ्चितं त्रिभुवनपावनं रजः महर्षयः पुलकधरैः कळेबरैः उदूहिरे धृतभवदीक्षणोत्सवाः.
Second line, first word, udanchitam. Okay.
Yes, उदञ्चितम्. विनिर्यतस्तव चरणाम्बुजद्वयात् उदञ्चितं त्रिभुवनपावनं रजः महर्षयः पुलकधरैः कळेबरैः उदूहिरे धृतभवदीक्षणोत्सवाः.
विनिर्यतस्तव चरणाम्बुजद्वयात् उदञ्चितं त्रिभुवनपावनं रजः महर्षयः पुलकदरैः कलेबरैः उदूहिरे धृतभवदीक्षणोत्सवाः. विनिर्यतस्तव चरणाम्बुजद्वयात् उदञ्चितं त्रिभुवनपावनं रजः महर्षयः पुलकदरैः कलेबरैः उदूहिरे धृतभवदीक्षणोत्सवाः.
3. प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरो न्यरुणदघाय वर्तनी भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः. So when they were that day, as they were going there, they entered this portion which has got very dense, tall grass and area. They go to a very, grassy area. So there, this other asura called Aghasura, this name came early also. Bakasura, when we saw last time, it says when Bakasura was going back, he was going to meet his sister Putana, it said, and to welcome his brother Aghasura, who's going to come later. So at that time I said in next Dasakam, Aghasura is going to come. So Aghasura is a sibling with Bakasura and Putana and everyone. So all of this, like we said, they can take any shape they want. So this Aghasura wants to take revenge on Krishna because he knows Krishna got rid of Putana and Bakasura. So there he is there waiting, and he not only wants to get rid of Krishna, he wants to get rid of all these Vraja boys as a revenge, right? So he says, not only Krishna, I'm going to kill all these Vraja boys. So automatically their families also will perish because they're all very upset about this. So he's getting ready. Prachara yatya virala. That's one word. Prachara yatya virala shadvale tale, pashun vibho bhavati samam kumarakaihi aghasuro nyarunadaghaya vartanim, bhayanakaha, put is bhayanakas sapadi shayanakakritihi. प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरो न्यरुणदघाय वर्तनीं भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः.
प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरोऽन्यरुणदघाय वर्तनीं भयानकसपदि शयानकाकृतिः. प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरोऽन्यरुणदघाय वर्तनीं भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः.
प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरोऽन्यरुणदघाय वर्तनीं भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः. प्रचारयत्य विरलशाद्वले तले पशून् विभो भवति समं कुमारकैः अघासुरोऽन्यरुणदघाय वर्तनीं भयानकः सपदि शयानकाकृतिः.
महाचल प्रतिमतनोर्गुहानिभ प्रसारित प्रदितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहरन कौतुकाद्गताः कुमारकाः किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि. So this Aghasura takes the form of a very big python or a snake, and the size of it is so huge. So he's lying on the grass there, and he has his mouth wide open. So when these boys come there, these small Gopa boys who are about 5 years old, I'll tell you why I said the age, because they turn 6 in the next Dashakam. So when they're about 5 years old or odd, right? So they're going and they're coming and looking at this massive thing that they think it is some theme park kind of place. They think this is some attraction in Vrindavan because they cannot even fathom that it is a real snake. That is how massive that size was. So they thought this was like some big thing that is there in Vrindavan. And the mouth, because it was gaping wide open, they thought it was a cave. They have to get inside to see what is actually inside there. And it was dark. So they all thought this is some massive size structure which is actually there. And they all desired to walk in. Of course, Krishna knows who has come, why he has come, what the purpose is and everything. But, he just lets them, have fun. So they all walk in and the boys all enter into the mouth of the python, thinking that it is actually a cave of a mountain or some attraction that is there. So Mahachala Pratima Tanur Guha Nibha, put a plus, Prasarita Pratita Mukasya Kanane. So those two lines together. Mukhodaram Biharana Kautukat Gataha, comma, Kumarakaha, put H to join it. Kumarakah Kimapi Vidurage Twayi. Mahachala Pratimatanur Guha Nibha Prasarita Pratita Mukhasya Kanane Mukhodaram Viharana Kautukat Gataha Kumarakah Kimapi Vidurage Twayi.
महाचलप्रतिमतनोर्गुहानिभव प्रसारितप्रथितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहरणकौतुकाद्गताः कुमारकाः किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि महाचलप्रतिमतनोर्गुहानिभ प्रसारितप्रथितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहरणकौतुकाद्गताः कुमारकाः किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि
महाचलप्रतिमतनोर्गुहानिभः प्रसारितप्रथितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहारनकौतुकाद्गताः कुमारकाः किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि.
Lakshmi, I think the second line, you ended with the tune of the first line. So, go ahead.
महाचलप्रतिमत नोर्गुहा निभः प्रसारितप्रथितमुखस्य कानने मुखोदरं विहारनकौतुकाद्गताः कुमारकाः किमपि विदूरगे त्वयि.
That's okay. Pramadata pravisati pannagodaram kvatattanau pashupakule savatsake vidannidam tvamapi viveshita prabho suhrujjanam visharanamashu rakshitum. So because the Aghasura had opened his mouth and his tongue also, he had laid it out like a red carpet. So it was like as if they were walking into some event or something, right? It was like all red on the floor. So they all just stepped on it. They all got in. When they go in, that's when they realize it is very dark inside. And, because it's poisonous, right? The snake's mouth. So they are all beginning to feel the heat, which is actually coming as they're entering into the mouth of Aghasura. So at the time, again, Krishna cannot have, his greatest of friends, his great devotees and friends suffering. So Krishna also decides to enter into the mouth of Aghasura. So he also gets into the mouth of Aghasura to save his friends. So Pramadataha, put the F, Pramadataha Pravishati Pannagodaram, Kvatattanau Pashupakule Savatsake Vidannidam Tvamapi Viveshita Prabho, Suhrij Janam Visharanamashu Rakshitum. Pramadata Pravishati Pannagodharam Kvatattanau Pashupakule Savatsake Vidannidam Tvamapi Viveshita Prabho Suhrij Janam Visharanamashu Rakshitum.
प्रमादतः प्रविशति पन्नगोदरं क्वथत्तनौ पशुपकुले सवत्सके विदन्निदं त्वमपि विवेशिथ प्रभो सुहृज्जनं विशरणमाशु रक्षितुं प्रमादतः प्रविशति पन्नगोदरं क्वथत्तनौ पशुपकुले सवात्सके विदन्निदं त्वमपि विवेशिथ प्रभो सुहृज्जनं विशरणमाशु रक्षितुम्
प्रमादतः प्रविशति पन्नगोदरम् क्व तत्तनौ पशुपकुले सवात्सके विदन्निदं त्वमपि विवेशित प्रभो सुहृज्जनं विशरणमाशु रक्षितुम् प्रमादतः प्रविशति पन्नगोदरम् क्व तत्तनौ पशुपकुले सवात्सके विदन्निदं त्वमपि विवेशित प्रभो सुहृज्जनं विशरणमाशु रक्षितुम्
गलोधरे विपुलितवर्ष्मणा त्वया महोरगे लुटति निरुद्धमारुते द्रुतं भवान् विदलितकण्ठमण्डलो विमोचयन् पशून् विनिर्ययौ. So last time with Bhakasura, when the Bhakasura crane took Krishna in, he became hot in its mouth, so it had to spit Krishna out. So here, because of python, it opens its mouth at the throat. That's where the entire thing opens. So Krishna, you then start expanding yourself in size today. So when you start expanding in size, Aghasura also starts expanding in size to accommodate Krishna. And beyond a particular point, he's not able to open his mouth anymore wide. So at that time, what happens is, the soul of Aghasura bursts through the head of Aghasura. So because we saw in Dasakam 4, when you're talking about Ashtanga Yoga, it says your soul has to exit from your Brahmarandra, the top of your head, for you to get liberated. Here Aghasura is getting liberated. So some of it will continue in the next stanza. But anyway, so Krishna expands, and from the throat, Aghasura is not able to withhold him anymore. So his life force exits, but it exits through the head, top of the head of Aghasura. Galodare Bipulita Varshmana Tvaya, Mahorage Lutati Niruddha Marute Drutam Bhavan Vidalita Kantha Mandalo. Kantam refers to the neck. Kantha Mandalo, Vimochayan Pashun Viniryayo. So we'll just do one time, because I think we need some more time for 52 today. Galodhare Vipulita Varshmana Tvaya Mahorage Lutati Niruddha Marute Drutam Bhavan Vidalita Kantha Mandalo Vimochayan Pashun Viniryayo.
गलोदरे विपुलितवर्ष्मणा त्वया महोरगे लुठति निरुद्धमारुते द्रुतं भवान् विदलितकण्ठमण्डलो विमोचयन् पशून् विनिर्ययौ.
गलोदरे विपुलितवर्ष्मणा त्वया महोरगे लुठति निरुद्धमारुते द्रुतं भवान् विदलितकण्ठमण्डलो विमोचयन् पशून् विनिर्ययौ.
क्षणं दिवे त्वदुपगमार्तमास्थितं महासुरप्रभवमहो महते विनिर्गते त्वयि तु निलीनमञ्जसा नभस्थले नृतुरतो जगुस्सुराः. So then Krishna is able to exit out of Aghasura. All the boys come out of Aghasura. All the cattle which had gone inside Aghasura, they all come out. So at that time it talks about how there's a light that was waiting for Krishna to come out of Aghasura, which was Aghasura's soul, which eventually went and merged into Krishna. So Aghasura then really got blessed, because he was like one of those things where direct contact with Bhagavan sometimes results in liberation, direct liberation, which is what happened to Aghasura. So all the demigods are saying Aghasura is such a atrocious person who was supposed to be gotten rid of. So not only is he gotten rid of Krishna in this avataram, you've also given him liberation. So this is just so magnanimous, right, to be able to do this. So they all praised you, O Krishna, there. I hope, if you remember, I asked a question why Balarama didn't come. So I hope you got the context of why Balarama didn't come. So anytime there's an interaction with a snake, which happens in 3 instances. One is this Aghasura incident, because Balarama is a representation, extension of Bhagavan as Adi Shesha, right? So anytime Aghasura is dying here, Balarama is not there. He won't come when Kaliyanardanam happens. He also won't be there later on when he'll come towards the end of Kaliyanardanam. He also won't be there third time when another person called Sudarshana will come in the form of a snake.
So he knows that the Krishna is going to do this Leela. Balram.
Balarama, it's you'll see in 52. I'll answer that after 52.
Got it.
Okay. Kshanam divi Tvadupagamārtam astitam. I'm just breaking at the ma. Tvadupagamārtam astitam, comma. Mahasura prabhava maho mahat. Binirgate Tvaitu nilinam anjasa, comma. Nabaha, put is nabas stale nandruturato jaguhu, put is jagussuraha. Kshanam divi tvadupagamārtamastitam mahasura prabhava maho mahat vinirgate tvaitu nilinamanjasa nabhastale nanruturato jagussuraha.
क्षणं दिवि त्वदुपगमार्थमास्थितं महासुरप्रभवमहो महत् विनिर्गते त्वयि तु निलीन अञ्जसा नभस्थले ननृतुरथो जगुस्सुराः.
Third line, nilinam anjasa.
Nilinam anjasa. Thank you.
Kshanam divi tvadupaghamaartamastitam mahasura prabhava maho mahat vinirgate tvayitu nilinamanjasa nabhastale nanruturatho jagussuraha.
Savismayai kamala bhavadibhis suraihi anudrutastadanugatah kumarakaihi dine punastaruna dashamupeyushi swakair bhavanatanuta bhojanotsavam. So this getting rid of Aghasura was so important that when this was happening, Lord Brahma, that's why it was Kamala Bhavadi, the one who came from the lotus flower, Brahma, he also wanted to witness it because Aghasura was such a demonic character that everybody was so curious how Krishna is going to get rid of Aghasura. So even Brahma came to witness that, and like I said, all the gods, demigods, then praised Krishna for getting rid of Aghasura. So Aghasura is gotten rid of. So now the boys are saying, okay, time for our picnic, because that's what we packed all these food and everything and came. So you all decide to, because the lunch time was approaching around noon, so you all decide to have picnic, O Krishna, along with your friends there. Sa vismayehi, put a ih, vismayeh, kamala bhavadi bihi, put a is, kamala bhavadi bis, suraihi, add a visarga at the end and comma, suraihi. Next, the ra becomes a a in the next line. Anudrutas tadanu gataha, put a ih, gatah, kumarakaihi. Dine punas taruna dashamupeyushi, comma, swakair bhavan, I'm just breaking at that na, bhavan atanutha bhojanotsavam, bhojana utsavam, they have a picnic. So typically after 51 we break for lunch in the Sampurna Narayaneeyam because Krishna is having a picnic with his friends, so that's when we also break. Savismayeh kamala bhavadibhis suraihi anudrutasthadanugatah kumarakaihi dine punastaruna dashamupeyushi swakair bhavanatanuta bhojanotsavam.
Savismayeh kamala bhavadibhis suraihi anudrutas tadanugatah kumarakaihi dine punastaruna dashamupeyushi swakair bhavan atanuta bhojanotsavam.
Savismayah kamala bhavadibhis suraihi anudrutastadhanugatah kumarakaihi दिने पुनस्तरुणदशामुपेयुषि स्वकैर्भवान् अथनुत भोजनोत्सवम्.
That's nice. विशानिकामपि मुरलीं नितम्बके निवेशयन् कबलधरः कराम्बुजे प्रहासयन् कलवचनैः कुमारकान् भुभोजितत्रिदशगणैर्मुधानुतः. So then Krishna, you then, sit there with your friends, and then you have your, murali, you have your flute tucked in on one side. Then you have your, in the horn, all of that tucked in your waistband. Nitambeke is the band which they tie around the waist. So you all tug all of that in, and some of it will become relevant in the next Dasakam. So you tug all of that into your waistband. And then you all sit with your friends, and then prahasayan, you are all laughing, having fun, having picnic with all of your friends, and you're eating kabaladharaha. Kabaladhara refers to curd rice. So I don't know how many of you came to Dushyantji's recent Ramayanam lecture. So he said Rama ate curd rice, and he made a comment, oh, Krishna also eats curd rice. I don't know if you came to that, you'll remember that. Anyway, this is the reference, and this is also in Bhagavatam of Krishna. He was, because they are all cowherds, right? So they all make milk products. So ghee is yogurt is a natural extension of it. So they are all packed food. So Krishna, in your karambuje, in your lotus-like hands, you are having that ball of curd rice, which you are then eating along with your friends and then having fun. So looking at this Tridasha Ghanair, looking at this, all the gods are saying, Krishna, what Leela are you doing? And next stanza is even beautiful, so I'll explain it there. Vishani Kamapi Muralim Nitambake, put a plus, Niveshayan Kabaladharaha, put a ich, Kabaladharah Karambuje, Prahasayan Kalavachanaihi, put a ich again, Kalavachanai Kumarakan, comma, Bhubojita Tridasha Ganair Muda Nutaha. Vishanikaamapi muralim nitambake niveshayan kabaladharah karambuje prahasayan kalavachanaih kumarakan bhubojita tridashaganair mudanutah.
विषाणिकामपि मुरलीं नितम्बके निवेशयन् कबलधरः कराम्बुजे प्रहासयन् कलवचनैः कुमारकान् बुभोजिथ त्रिदशगणैर्मुदानुतः.
विशानिकामपि मुरलीं नितम्बके निवेशयन् कबलधरः कराम्बुजे प्रहासयन् कलवचनैः कुमारकान् बुभोजित त्रिदशगणैर्मुदानुतः.
Adishti, I have a quick question about this rice thing. So for Ekadashi, people say that Ekadashi is, you pray for Lord Krishna. We don't, they don't offer rice. Like, is there a specific reason why rice is not eaten?
I think that is different, because Ekadashi you are supposed to fast, because if you eat rice, you feel sleepy. If anything, any food which is not pure sattvic food, like fresh fruits or vegetables, if you consume that on that day, Ekadashi is the day where you're supposed to be praying all the time. That's the original intention, right? It's a sort of cleansing your body, fasting and praying all the time. So anything which is going to make you a little bit tamasic, like rice will make you drowsy and sleepy and all of that, they say avoid all of those foods, right? Because it is not going to get your attention towards Bhagavan. Krishna, in fact, the next stanza, I'll explain that. That will also answer a little bit of your question about rice and things like Krishna or anything. We'll just switch. Shailaja Praveen, you can be student, and Krishnanji, you can be student. Sukhashanam tvihatava gopamandale makhashanat priyamiva deva mandale itistutasthridashavarai jagatpate marutpuri nilaya gadat prapahimam. So all the gods are saying, for those who know Vishnu Sahasranamam, there is a stanza which comes in that, which says, Yajna Brit, Yajna Krit, Yajni, Yajna Bhuk, Yajna Sadhanaha. He says, you are Yajna Bhuk. So which means whatever somebody is putting into a yajnam, into an offering, comes to you, O Narayana. right? So when all these sages and priests and rishis are all offering so many stuff into the yajnam, the devas are saying, Krishna, none of that is your priority. You know what is your priority? Eating that ball of curd rice with your friends there. So Sukhashanam Tivatava Gopa Mandale, sitting with the Gopa boys and eating that last night's curd rice, you love it more than anything anybody can offer into the heaven. Right? So that is to a little bit answer your question, Madhu, of what you can offer Krishna. It doesn't matter what you offer to Krishna. It is the devotion with which you offer it to Krishna. And it's going to come in multiple places. It's going to come in Dasakam 61. It's going to come in Dasakam 87, Kuchelo Pakyanam. This is another of that instance where it doesn't matter what you offer. And that's what the Devas are saying. All this great yajna stuff which we are offering, Priyam, more than that, Sukhashanam, you Krishna, I've seen you so happy. You are just enjoying this, sitting with your friends, hanging out with your friends, talking and eating that, sharing that food amongst all you friends together. So with this, the Tridasha Varai, all the gods and demigods praised you, O Krishna. So Marut Puri Nilaya, O Guru Arapa, please eradicate all of my ailments. We are a little bit rushing through the stanzas today because I want to say the meaning of 52 in one flow. Otherwise, it will get difficult. So that's why we'll just say the stanzas one time for that reason today. Sukhashanam Tviha Tava Gopa Mandale, Makhashanat Priyamiva Deva Mandale, Iti Stutas Tridashavarair Jagatpate, Marutpuri Nilaya Gada Prapahimam. Sukhashanam Tvihatava Gopa Mandale, Makhashanat Priyamiva Deva Mandale, Itistutastridashavarai Jagatpate, Marutpuri Nilaya Gadat Prapahimam.
Sukashanam Tvihatava Gopa Mandale, Makashanat Priyamiva Deva Mandale, Itistutastridashavarai Jagatpate, Marutpuri Nilaya Gadat Prapahimam.
Sukhasanam Tvihatava Gopa Mandale, Makhashanat Priyamiva Deva Mandale, Idistudastudashadaiva Jagatpade Marutpuri Nilaya Jagadat Prapahimam. Prapahimam.
After the Jagatpate in the third line, there is a comma. Okay, Krishnji. So, Tridashavarai Jagatpate. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Dasakam 52. There is Brahma Krita Vatsapahara Varnanam. So, stealing of the calves and the boys by Brahma. That's the one. Anhyavatara Nikareshwa Nirikshitam Te Bhumatirekam Abhivikshya Tadhaga Mokshe Brahma Parikshitu Manasa Paroksha Bhavam Ninyeta Vatsaka Ganan Pravitatya Mayam. So this one, it starts off in Bhagavatam by Shukra Brahman saying that the Aghasura incident happened when the boys were 5 years old. However, the boys told this to their parents when they were 6 years old. Okay? And they said it as if it happened that day. So, so Parikshit says, how is it possible? Like it happened like a year before, but they're telling it a year later. But how are they telling it like it happened on that day? Right? So at that time, then it gets into the story saying like Brahma, we saw last time, when Aghasura Vadam happened, Brahma is getting stunned saying, Krishna, there is a limit to like how casually you are able to get rid of all of these people, right? In this avataram, you are not having to struggle at all. You don't need any Sudarshana Chakram, nothing. You just go as a small 5-year-old boy. You're getting rid of Bhakasura, Vatsasura, Aghasura. You're getting rid of all of these things. So to some extent, Brahma also wanted to parikshita. He also wanted to test how much is the potency that Krishna has gotten into this incarnation, right? How much potency of Narayana has come into this incarnation. Because sometimes, even the great gods sometimes want to test for whatever reason. But anyway, so Brahma wanted to test. So what Brahma does is, they're all sitting there right now. They're all sitting and having this picnic. So the cows then start grazing. when the cows start grazing, the first thing Brahma does is he makes all those calves disappear. So when the calves disappear, suddenly the boys get very worried, saying that what happened to all the calves? They all seem to have disappeared. So Krishna says, guys, you don't worry. You all sit and eat. I will go find the calves, right? So with that, Krishna then goes out looking for the calves. So Anyavatara Nikareshwa Nirikshitam Te, comma, Bhumatirekam, I'm just breaking at that, Bhumatirekam Abhivikshya Tadaga Mokshe Brahma Parikshitum Manaha, put is Manas Sat Paroksha Bhavam, comma, Ninyeta Vatsaka Ganan Pravitatya Mayam. So all the Vatsaka Ganan, all the calves, he makes them disappear. Anyavatara Nikareshwa Nirikshitam Te Bhumatirekam Abhivikshya Tadagha Mokshe Brahma Parikshitu Manasa Paroksha Bhavam Ninyeta Vatsaka Ganan Pravitatya Mayam.
अन्यावतारनिकरेष्वनिरीक्षितं ते भूमातिरेकमभिवीक्ष्य तदागमोक्षे ब्रह्मा परीक्षितुमनः स परोक्षभावं निन्येत वत्सकगणान् प्रवितत्य मायाम्.
अन्यावतारनिकरेष्वनिरीक्षितं ते भूमातिरेकमभिवीक्ष्य तथागमोक्षे ब्रह्मा परीक्षितुमनः परोक्षभावं निन्येत वत्सगगणान् प्रविदत्य मायाम्.
वत्सानवीक्ष विवशे पशुपोत्करेतान् आनेतु काम इव धातृमतानुवर्ती त्वं सामि भुक्त कबलो गतवांस्तधानीं भुक्तां स्थिरोदित सरोज भवः कुमारान्. So, like we saw in the previous Dasakam, Kabaladara Karambuje, in your beautiful lotus-like hands, Krishna, you were having that ball of rice. So you said to the boys, don't worry, I will go look for the calves. You all continue eating. So with that, Krishna, with that half-eaten ball of rice in your hand, you continue to eat that ball of rice, curd rice, and you go looking for the calves. Now you know what has happened, right? And you wanted to give Brahma an opportunity to do whatever test he wanted. So when Krishna went looking for the calves, the boys also disappeared at the same time. Brahma also made the boys also invisible or disappeared. So Vatsana Vikshya Bivashe Pashupotkare Tan, put it in, comma. Next the Na becomes a A. Anetu Kama Iva Dhatru Matanuvarti Tvam Sami Bhukta Kabalo Gatavams Tadhani. Sami Bhukta means half eaten. So you are still eating that ball of rice. You continue going with that. Gatavams Tadhani, comma. Bhuktams Tirodhita Saroja Bhavaha. Put a if. Saroja Bhavah Kumaran. Vatsanhavikshya vivashe Pashupotkaretan Anetu Kama Iva Dhatru Matanuvarti Tvam Sami Bhukta Kabalo Gatavam Stadhani Bhuktam Stirodhita Saroja Bhava Kumaran.
वत्सानवीक्ष्य विवशे पशुपोत्करेतान् आनेतु काम इव दातृमतानुवर्ती त्वं सामि भुक्तकबलो गतवांस्तदानीं भुक्तां स्थिरोदितसरोज भवः कुमारान्.
वत्सानवीक्ष्य विवशे पशुपोत्करेतान् आनेतु काम इव धातुमतानुवर्ति त्वं स्वामी भुक्तकबलो गतवास्तदानीं भुक्तां स्थिरोधितसरोज भवत्कुमारान्.
That one, the is will come with the bhukta. So it will be like bhuktams tirodhita.
Bhuktaಂ stirodhita.
Yep. Answer two. Vatsahitas tadanugopaganayitastvam shikyadi bhandamurali gabaladhi rupaha प्राग्वद्विहृत्य विपिनेषु चिराय सायं त्वं माययात बहुधा व्रजमाययाथ. So now the boys are gone, the calves are gone, only Krishna is left, right? So what does Krishna do now? Now amongst in the entire Krishna's incarnation, Krishna Avataram, people talk about, Krishna saying Bhagavad Gita as one main thing. Some people say getting rid of Kamsa was a great leela that Krishna performed. Some people say Rasa Krida was a great leela. All of those are great things that Krishna did. But this is the most underrated thing, right? In which people don't talk about, which I think is definitely the top leela that Krishna does in Krishna Avataram, where now, instead of going and if Krishna wants, he could just make Brahma appear like this and get all the boys and the calves. But he says, no, if that's the game Brahma wants to play, let Brahma play that game. I also want to give some leela to the Gopikas and everybody else. So what Krishna you do is you become everybody who has gone missing, right? And the significance of this is very special, right? Because you have to look at this, you have to imagine this. There are let's say 25 boys who are there. Krishna has to become each of the 25 boys. One of the boy is fat, one of the boy is thin, one boy is short, one boy is tall. So he has to become exactly like that boy. Some boy may have 6 fingers. Krishna also has to have 6 fingers for that. Each of the boys is having their murali, is having their flute decorated in different ways. The flute also has gone missing now. So Krishna has to become the flute, and he has to become the flute exactly in the way that boy had it. The horn that boy had, where that boy tucks that horn in, Krishna has to do it exactly the same way. The lunch boxes that the boys were having, even those lunch boxes has disappeared. So if the Krishna has to become the lunch box, Krishna has to become the lunch in the lunch box. So we all know when we send food with our kids, not all the food gets eaten. Some food remains. So the lunch box cannot be empty, right? So if there's like a karuaplai or something left over in the food, Krishna has to become that leaf in that food box, because otherwise the mother will get suspicious. How did my boy eat that vegetable? I know he doesn't eat it, right? So he has to become that vegetable which is left over in the lunch box, right? So he becomes everything that was there in there, right? And then he becomes their name, he becomes that form. And now it's only lunchtime, right? 12 o'clock, the boys don't go till evening. So Krishna then has to play with himself in all these boys. Whatever games the boys would have played, the boys play those games. Wherever the calves would have gone grazing, the calves go grazing. So nothing changes and everything remains as if it was just how it would have happened, right? So all the boys are playing, the calves are grazing, all the boys finish eating their lunch and they all sit and chat and they all hang out, and all of this is happening that day in the afternoon. So vatsayitas tadanu gopa ganayitas tvam, shikyadi bhanda murali gavaladi rupah pragvat vihritya vipineshu chiraya sayam. So he waits till evening comes, sayam. Tvam mayayata bahudha brajamayayatha. वत्साहितस्तदनुगोपगणायितस्त्वं शिक्यादिभाण्डमुरलीकबलाधिरूपः प्राग्वद्विहृत्य विपिनेषु चिराय सायं त्वं माययात बहुधा व्रजमाययाथ.
वत्सायितस्तदनुगोपगणायितस्त्वं शिक्यादिभाण्डमुरलीगवलादिरूपः प्राग्वद्विहृत्य विपिनेषु चिराय सायं त्वं माययात बहुधा व्रजमाययात.
वत्सायदस्तदनुगोपगणायदस्त्वं सिक्यादिभाण्डमुरलीगवलातिरूपः पाग्रद्विहृत्य विपिनेषु चिराय सायं त्वं माययाथ बहुधा भजमाययाथ.
That's a full. त्वामेव शिक्यगबलादिमयं दधानो भूयस्त्वमेव पशुवत्सकबालरूपः गोरूपिणीभिरपि गोपवधूमहीभिः आसादितोऽसि जननीभिरति प्रहर्षात्. So all of them Krishna as the boys, Krishna as the calf, Krishna as the bag, Krishna as the flute, and everything. They all come back to Vrindavan. It's evening time. Now, we all know, like we said in the previous Dasakam, intentionally I said towards the last stanza that each boy plays the flute differently, right? That's because now when the boys are coming, the mothers have to recognize. We all know for kids who learn music before, right? They play really bad, the instruments, right? So the boys all cannot play flute like how Krishna does. Each boy has his own bad way of playing the flute. So Krishna has to play exactly that way, because when they enter the house, the mother has to feel my boy has entered, right? There should be absolutely no doubt. So when the boys enter home, the way the boys behave, the way the boys interact, everything remains the same. So the mothers really think their own children has come back. Not only the boys, the cows have to know it is their calf who has come back, right? So the calves move in a particular way according to their own voice. So the cow will recognize it's my calf. So the calves continue to do exactly the same way. So the cows thought that their calves have come back, right? So all of them come back home, right? And it's Krishna in all of these various forms sitting in Vrindavan right now with their respective houses. Twameva shikya gavaladi mayam dhadano, comma, bhuyas twameva pashu vatsaka bala rupaha go rupini bhirapi gopa badhu mayi bihi, put a visarga comma, mayi bihi. Next line, the ra will become a. Asaditosi janani bhirati praharshat.
Rajesh, first line ending tada naha அப்படின்னு கொடுத்துருக்கு.
Okay, just change it to tada no. Sometimes they might end it with visarga instead of a o sound, but that's okay. Twamhe vashikya gavaladi mayam dadhano bhuyastvameva pashuvatsakabala rupaha गोरूपिणी भिरपि गोपवधू महीभिः आसादितोऽसि जननी भिरते प्रहर्षात्.
त्वामेव शिक्य गवलादिमयं ददानो भूयस्त्वमेव पशुवत्सकबालरूपः गोरूपिणीभिरपि गोपवधूमयीभिः आसादितोऽसि जननीभिरति प्रहर्षात्.
त्वामेव शिक्य गबलादिमयं दधानो भूयस्त्वमेव पशुवत्सकबालरूपः गोरूपिणीभिरपि गोपवधूमयीभिः आसादितोऽसि जननीभिरति प्रहर्षतात्.
प्रहर्षात्. That's fine. जीवं हि कञ्चिदभिमानवशात् स्वकीयं मत्वा तनूज इति रागभरं वहन्त्यः आत्मानमेव तु भवन्तमवाप्य सूनुं प्रीतिं ययुर्न कियतीं वनिताश्च घावः. So here everybody has this abhimanam, the sense of I-ness and mine, right? We all have that, right? Because, and I said this in yesterday's class also, right? That unless it is something related to you, most of the time, 100% of the time, people don't care. Even if you think of your children, right? It's for us, our children are special, right? We always love our children because they're connected to us. Our relatives, our friends are special because they're connected to us. If somebody was not connected to us, we would not find them special at all, right? So everything for us revolves around us, right? So here, when the supreme bliss itself is born as a child as Krishna and is entering into their houses, right? Suddenly, and that same person is there in everybody's house. So suddenly what these gopikas and parents are beginning to feel is, I somehow like everybody equal now. You know, like the neighbor's son, I like him as this exactly the same way as much as I like my son right now. Because it's the same Krishna who's there in everybody's house, right? And this thing becomes thing in Gokul, in Vrindavan, where suddenly everybody is feeling very happy. Everybody is feeling very excited, you know, because they love everybody around. And plus bliss itself is come incarnated into their own house as their own child. So everybody's in a state of bliss. Everybody is, excited, and everybody is loving everybody else's children who they used to hate, saying that guy used to be a brat, but still they love that boy. Even though that boy continues to do whatever naughty things he's doing, they continue to love the neighbor's son as well, right? So they all are experiencing that, even though they all have that abhimanam in them. So Jivam hi kanchid abhimana vashat swakiyam, matva tanuja iti ragabharam bahantyah atmanameva tu bhavantam avapya. I'm breaking at that ma. Bhavantam avapya sunum, pritim yayurna kiyatim vanitascha ghavaha. Jivam hi kanchidabhimana vashat swakiyam matva tanuja iti ragabharam bahantyah atmanameva tu bhavantam avapya sunum pritim yayurna kiyatim vanitascha ghavaha.
வந்து கிஞ்சிதான் கொடுத்திருக்கு, கஞ்சிதான் மாத்தணுமா?
Kanchit, yeah.
Kanchita, okay.
Kanchit, yeah. The da sound, but it becomes the it and the a. So kanchit abhimana.
जीवं हि कञ्चिदभिमानवशात् स्वकीयं मत्वा तनूजयिति रागभरं वहन्त्यः आत्मानमेव तु भवन्तमवाप्य सूनुं प्रीतिं ययुर्न कियतीं वनिताश्च गावः.
जीवं हि कञ्चिदभिमानवस्वकीयं मात्वा तनूज इति रागभरं भवन्त्यः आत्मानमेव तु भवन्तमावाप्य सूनं प्रीतिं ययुर्न कियदिं वनिताश्च गावः.
Stanza 6. Evam pratikshana vijrumbita harsha bhara nishesha gopagana lalita bhuri murtim tvam agrajopi bhubude kilavatsarante brahmatmanorapi mahan yuvayor visheshaha. So this goes on for 1 year. So for 1 year, Krishna is every single thing related to those gopas and those calves and everything. And everybody is in a state of ecstasy. Everybody is in a state of bliss and happy. Nobody knows what is happening. Not even Balarama. So I think somebody, I don't know who asked that question of Balarama earlier, but even Balarama doesn't know what is happening, right? And the reason here, Bhattadripad answers saying, Brahmatmanorapi Mahan. Even though you both are incarnations of the Brahman, among you both, Krishna, you are different, because Krishna is Purna Avatar. Because if you remember in Dasakam 37, Narayana says, I myself is come with my full potency and take Krishna Avataram. Everybody else is a partial incarnation. Even Balarama is a partial incarnation, right? Because, and that doesn't mean it's anything low. I'm not saying it is lower. I'm just saying there is a difference, because what that means Bhagavan does, nobody else will know until Bhagavan wants them to know. So this goes for 1 year, nobody recognizes. Finally, 5 to 6 days before the end of the 1 year, Balarama notices 2 incidents happening. Because a year has passed, the cows have new calves right now, right? When a cow milks, the preference is always given to the newborn calf, because that's a newborn baby. The calves which were there from previous years are older calves. One day after grazing, Balarama notices that the cows were giving preferences to those older calves and not to the new calves. So Balarama says that's not motherly instinct. A motherly instinct for the cow is to give it to the newborn calf, not to the calf which is a year older. But these cows seem to prefer those older calves a little bit more. Then another incident he notices is these boys do all kinds of atrocities one day. They let the calves run. But the dads, the gopas, don't scold the boys. In fact, when they come, they feel like embracing the boys and giving a hug to the boys. So Balarama says this is also very unusual. So Balarama then goes and corners Krishna and says, tell me what is happening, right? That these 2 incidents doesn't show me that something is happening. So then Krishna explains what happens to Balarama. So only then even Balarama comes to know that it is Krishna who is there in all of these calves and Krishna who is there in all of these boys. And because Krishna is there in all of them, they all have special love and attachment no matter what is happening to those, compared to the other calves and the other boys there. So, evam pratikshana bijrumbhita harshabhara plus nishesha gopagana lalita bhurimurtim. So the two lines together. Tvam agrajopi bhubude kila vatsarante, comma, brahmatmanorapi mahan yuvayor visheshaha. Evam pratikshana vijrumbhita harsha bhara nishesha gopagana lalita bhurimurtim. Tvam agrajopi bubudhe kila vatsarante brahmatmanorapi mahan yuvayor visheshaha.
एवं प्रतीक्षण विजृम्भित हर्षभार निःशेष गोपगणलालित पूरिमूर्तिं त्वामग्रजोऽपि बुबुधे किल वत्सरान्ते ब्रह्मात्मनोरपि महान् युवयोर्विशेषः.
एवं प्रदक्षिणविजुभिन्दहर्षभार निशेषगोपगणलालितभूरिमूर्तिं त्वमग्रजोऽपि बुबुधे किल वत्सरान्ते ब्रह्मात्मनोरपि महानुभयो विशेषः.
That's a seven. वर्षाभधौ नवपुरातनवत्सपालान् दृष्ट्वा विवेकमसृणे द्रुहिणे विमूढे प्राधीदृशप्रतिनवान् मकुटान् गदादिभूषांश्चतुर्भुजयुजः सजलाम्बुधाभान्. So 1 year has now passed. And finally, Krishna then is coming to the same spot where all of this had originally kicked off, right? In the banks of Vrindavan on that day. And a year for us is just a fraction of a second for Brahma, right? So Brahma had taken the calves and the boys away, and he looks now and he sees he has the boys and the calves, and he sees those boys and the calves there at the same place again. So Brahma is now getting confused as to which is the real boys and the calves. Like, did he even pick the right boys and the calves, right? And Brahma is beginning to get confused as to what is happening. So to then show to Brahma, as Brahma is getting confused, to make him realize, Krishna, you make all of those boys, all of those calves as you. So you then show Brahma, you, dark blue color, Chaturbhujam, having Shankam, Gari, Gada, Padmam, all of that, and you all stand. So Brahma is seeing all this Narayana standing there in that place instead of the calves and the boys and everything which is there. And Brahma just cannot even comprehend what is actually happening. I'm going to just continue with the meaning of this, and we'll cover the stanzas next class. So Brahma is looking and he's seeing all of these things, and everybody looks exactly the same. He can't even differentiate which is one Narayana versus the other Narayana. Everybody has the same Pitambaram. Everybody has the Kaustubhajam. Everybody has the Srivatsa mark. Everybody has Chaturbhujam. Everybody is carrying all of those things. They look exactly the same. So Brahma is really beginning to get confused. And suddenly there, Brahma is now able to see that each of them he sees as this Narayana, who is also now lying on Adishesha. So Krishna is essentially showing a couple of things to Brahma. One, he says that all those boys and all those calves are me, Krishna, is one. Second, shows, do not forget, I am that same Narayana who you saw in Vaikuntham, right? Lying on that Adishesha, right? With all of the Sanat Kumaras, everybody around me. So he shows Brahma that vision again to say that it is the same me who has incarnated with full potency as Krishna Avataram. And then Brahma then sees himself as well there, right? And then suddenly all of this disappears. And then it's just like how it happened with Yashoda. Everything goes off in a fraction of a second. And Brahma sees that boy Krishna walking around with a Kabaladhara Karamboje, with a half-eaten ball of rice, looking for the calves and the boys. So all of this happens in a fraction to tell Brahma that it was me. I just let you take all that just to show you the full potency of what I've come, that, that none of this, any Maya, any illusion that you do is not going to work in Krishna Avataram. right? There's just Krishna is beyond all of that stuff. So he gives Brahma that. So it's like an awakening for Brahma to realize that, he also saw the potency of Krishna Avataram in full action. And Brahma then realizes the mistake that he had actually done. And, then all these boys and the calves then essentially get returned, right? There's nothing beyond that. So once Brahma realizes that, all the boys, calves come back, then Krishna and the boys and the calves all come back home. When they come back home, for the 1 year has passed on earth, right? But for the boys, they never experienced any of this 1 year. So they come back and they say, you will not believe what happened today. A big snake was there. We thought it was a mountain. We all went into that thinking it was a mountain. And Krishna came in. He somehow did it. It all expanded. We saw light going into Krishna's body. And all of this happened today. And the parents are like, as usual, they discount. But all this happened 1 year back. Right? So 1 year had passed in that boy's life and the calf's life. And, eventually, anyway, they all come back, right? So this kind of shows one of the great, Leela in Krishna Avataram, which is not spoken much, but which kind of shows that at the end of the day, it's the same Bhagavan who's there in every single thing, right? Not every single being, but every single inanimate object as well, right? Which carries the same God energy, right? Okay, so we'll just do 7 maybe and stop. Varsha Vadhau Nava Puratana Vatsapalan, Drishtva Vivekam Asurune Druhine Vimudhe Pradidrishaha, put a F, Pradidrishah Pratinavan Makutangadadi, and then put a plus, Bhushamsh Chatur Bhuja Yujaha, is that, put a is to join, Bhuja Yujas Sajalambudabhan. Varsha Bhadhau Navapuratana Vatsapalan Drishtva Vivekamasrune Druhine Vimudhe Pradhidrisha Pratinavan Makutangadadi Bhushams Chaturbhuja Yujas Sajalambudhaban.
वर्षावधौ नवपुरातनवत्सपालान् दृष्ट्वा विवेकमसृणे द्रुहिणे विमूढे प्रादिदृशः प्रतिनवान् मकुटाङ्गदादि भूषांश् चतुर्भुजयुजः सजलाम्बुदाभान्.
वर्षावधौ नवपुरातनवत्सपालान् दृष्ट्वा विवेकमसृणे द्रुहिणे विमूढे पादीदृशः प्रतिनवान् मकुटां गदादिभूषां चतुर्भुजयुषः सजलाम्बुदाभान्.
And that 4th line, first word, Bhushamsh, there's the ish sound there also, okay? Bhushamsh Chaturbhujayujas.
Bhusham Chaturbhujayujas.
Krishna, okay, we'll end the class here today. Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam Kaladeshavaribhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashatasahasena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtavatre Punarurupurushartatmakam Brahmatattvam Tattavad Bhadi Sakshad Guru Pavanapure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam Kahena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrute swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami. Thank you, everyone. So just one quick thing. So that I sent you all the link for that August 17th Parayanam, right? You should have got it in that community group, right? So I expect all of you to be there, obviously. Even if you don't want to lead a Dasakam, that's okay. But please sign up, right? And so we know how many people are coming, how many are coming for lunch, and please stay through the whole program, right? And I don't know if there's any more prasadams left to pick in case you want to pick anything. Yeah. If you have any questions on that sheet or something, just let me know.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Okay.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.